Hello?
All right. Hello.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear us? All right. Teresa?
No.
Okay. Well, welcome to Detroit in Black and White. Uh,
Welcome, welcome.
we've got Vanessa Moss, attorney Vanessa Moss, and
Hey,
we have and hopefully future 36th District Court judge. And then we have Eric Brown, who's a advocate for literacy and follows politics quite closely. Vanessa, you wanna what's on your mind tonight?
well, what's on my mind is, of course, we have been kicking it for months and we've been talking about this. It was no surprise to any of us on Detroit in Black and White that the mayor of the city of Detroit is not going to run for a fourth term. So, what's on my mind is what's next for the city of Detroit? What is it going to look like? Because one of the things I think that we have to think about is the fact that this mayor has a lot of ties in the financial community, the business community, well respected. He has contacts everywhere. And so the person who steps in those shoes, whoever that is, are they going to be able to maintain those kind of relationships? And close of an alignment will that person have to the former mayor? You
Well,
know,
they
it's
they got they got they have to deal with whoever get elected because it's like you done jumped in the middle of the ocean. You can't swim back to shore. You got to finish what you started. So I'm sure that the business community will probably rally behind somebody that
mhm.
they think that's going to continue uh, his agenda. And I'm sure at some point, Duggan might step in and say, "I support that person," but
Oh,
that don't mean shit because most politicians don't have coattails anyway. But the business community can make it happen. Who at this point, who gets out there first and who raises the most money, or who's gonna spend the most money on themselves? Because we know there are people out there that don't need anybody to give them anything, and they'll throw 1 million or 2 million, and
who
they
you
can
talking
buy
about? Who
votes.
you talking about? You could be talking about our current
I'm
congressman.
talking about the asshole that called his name is Sri Canada
That's who you
that
talking about.
that can't deliver shit for the district that plays footsies with a Indian dictator who kills uh, Muslims over in India, and he's a real. That's one of the reasons why the Democratic Party in Michigan and is where is that we had in this area we had two Congress people. One was totally against the Democratic ticket. That was Rashida Tlaib. And the other one couldn't produce not one damn thing.
Now, why
And
do you say that Rashida Tlaib was totally against the Democratic Party? She didn't say that, but
well,
in her actions.
her silence speaks for itself.
Absolutely, I agree.
You wouldn't
There's no
endorse
question.
Harris. I want to say this about the mayoral thing. I agree with Adolph. I mean, whoever ends up in power. I mean, the business people need the mayor as much as the mayor needs them,
Right.
and it's symbiotic. Because look, Duggan, part of Duggan's great success has been. I mean, I think Duggan's a great manager, and I think he's progressive in some ways, but part of his great success has been Dan Gilbert. Dan Gilbert,
Well,
you know,
and plus, Duggan's been lucky when he went over to the DMC. The state gave DMC hundreds of millions of dollars to bail him out. He's been in the right place at the right time, so he's moving on. And here we are. Uh, but the bill is going to be due sooner or later for the bankruptcy. Don't think that all this shit is gonna be lovey dovey
Yeah.
because whoever's the next mayor gonna have to deal with that bill. You know, it's like that carpet commercial. We gonna Nationwide or whatever the name of that carpet company. They're gonna carpet your whole house. you don't have to
This
pay
is called
until
Empire.
2027, and then 2027 come, you ain't got the fucking money.
And you bring up a good point, Adolph, because and happy Founders Day, Vanessa, to your sorority sisters.
Thank you. It's November. That's right. Thank you. Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, 102 years old. But anyway.
And Adolph, you bring up a good point because people fail to realize the first term of Mayor Duggan was an easy peasy street due to the bankruptcy. And Allan, I think it was, that said, in addition to you, Adolph, the business community is going to make a difference with regards to the next mayor as it relates to whomever he endorses. He says he's not going to do it yet, and he eventually will, I'm sure. And whomever he endorses, that's who the business community going to get behind, just like they got behind him prior to him even announcing for mayor. And, you know, when you look back on 2013 and you look at the numbers, it is a shame that I just find it amazing that he won a primary election with 17% of the voter turnout, got more votes as a write-in candidate than all the other 15 candidates combined. Then come November 2013, only 25% of the people came out. In that second term of re-election, it is even pathetic that the general election only resulted in less than 20% of the people coming out. So the citizens of Detroit, it's their fault they didn't go vote. But less than 25% of the electorate has elected him 3 times. And that's a damn.
But that's all part of what folks do. You know, it's like the millage passes every time in Detroit. And they used to send experts here and say, Detroit passes these school millages and all that. They trying to figure out, they fail every place else.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the senior citizens here that was passing them. They don't even have kids in school. They don't even pay taxes, but they vote yay. So that's 15% elect everybody. You know, you got a few people that have all this power. Now let's look at the what we got going. We got one former city council president and one current city council president, both women, both strong Black women. Are they going to face the same bullshit that the vice president? Because we got people that said, and I talked about it the last show. Irma Henderson was a hell of a politician, got more votes all the time when she ran, was council president, but when she ran for mayor, she finished last among also rans. Because people say, okay, we love you, Irma Henderson, as the council president, but we don't think you should be the mayor. Are we going to have that problem?
So
she was council president with the most votes to the council president.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I want to make sure that I'm clear. I always have to make sure that I'm clear. Are you intimating that are the 2 women going to have the same problem that the vice president of the United States had, which is sexism?
Yeah.
I think it's a whole different thing. I think we talked about this before. You asked me my opinion.
But I'm gonna just tell you, and my opinion is, I watch this shit.
We disagree.
I'm just telling you. Said, do I think so? Yes, I do.
No,
and tell me why you think it's not gonna be. It's not gonna be that problem.
I'm saying that sexism wasn't the only problem. So you're asking. I'm trying to make sure that I got the question correct. You're intimating that sexism is maybe the reason that these women may not prevail.
And racism, the same shit that happened to the vice president. And listen, you got Black people here in this city thinks that the only person we should be elected is a white person because it's gonna bring in all the money, etc. I heard it all the time. You go out to Southfield. That is their mentality. We a
Right.
multicultural community because they don't want to accept the fact that Southfield is majority black, and they keep electing a majority of white politicians out there. I see it, and we live it.
But as it stands today, there's no white person in the race. We have 4 black people that's in the race so far.
Well, you don't. It don't matter.
Based on what I see today,
Duggan wasn't in the race before. Listen, you gonna be surprised because you got an Indian congressman, you got a Palestinian congressman in a black city. We got nobody black.
Allan, Eric, did Sri Thanadar, did I miss the news? Did he say that he's running?
No, he hasn't announced.
Has he made
we know he's running. We know he's running. Just like we knew Duggan wasn't running again. But you can laugh because 6 months from now, you're going to be sitting up there saying, he's running again. Let's take a break and we'll come back and continue this conversation.
In the heart of Detroit, Bruce Simpson. Our city ombudsman and his team are dedicated to making your voice heard. The City of Detroit Ombudsman is a liaison between the City of Detroit and all persons who have a complaint or inquiry into the operation of a city department or the conduct of a city employee. The Ombudsman works as an independent oversight to provide individuals with an opportunity of giving a confidential avenue to address complaints. You can reach the Ombudsman's office at 313-224-6000 or email us at ombudsmandetroitmi.gov. You can also visit us at the Coleman A. Young Municipal Center. For more information, go to www.detroitmi.gov and type in Ombudsman. We are here to help. In Detroit, we are all one team. When you win, we all win.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
I love teaching others because when I first got into the healthcare field, people overlooked me. I was really a 9th grade dropout who had no education, but I was determined to make something of myself for my baby. So Motor City matched the funds I put into my business. They awarded me $20,000. So now I'm able to focus solely on first step healthcare training and give it everything it needs. All because I live in Detroit.
Listen, welcome back to Detroit in Black and White, where you laugh. So you don't have to have white skin to be white. You can be Candace Owens. You can be Clarence Thomas. You can run with their agenda. That's what I'm talking about. Listen, we got black folk that don't like themselves, and they're gonna take it out on these 2 women.
Listen,
I think we're going to have a lot of qualified candidates. We're going to have a big pool. More and more people
like who, Allan?
Jump in a pool. Well,
like who?
The Speaker of the House, I think, is a possibility. I think there's some other people that are going to jump in, but whatever. I mean, to me, one of the things that I like about Duggan, and look, one of the things I think he was a great manager. I thought he, like he said, I mean, he had the wave was going his way, which helped, but I think he's a strong manager. I think look, he talked about it today. He talked about how tough it was running as a white person. He said in 2013.
Obviously, it wasn't that tough. He won on the right end. He's talking about tough. That wasn't that tough.
In the end, I think I love Benny Napoleon. He ran against Benny Napoleon. I love Benny. Benny's a great guy, but
Benny didn't even want to run for mayor. Right. Benny didn't even try to run for mayor. But and may his soul rest in peace. Yeah, because I like Benny. I knew Benny. And there's no question. Listen, people just wanted something different. You can say whatever you want to say about Duggan. He's been in the right place at the right time, just like Obama. Right place, right time, and there he is. Listen, I'm not knocking him. You know, this city on the move. But let's be real. The bill is going to be due. Empire Carpet, you're going to have to pay the bill.
So the bill is going to
You're going to have to pay it.
Wait a minute. So are you saying that the bill is, we can agree that the bill is going to be due, but are you saying that because the bill is going to be due, the citizens of Detroit are not going to elect a Black woman? They will elect.
No, I'm not saying they. I hope it's not like that. All I'm saying is that they gonna face Santel Jenkins, who I respect a lot, and Mary Sheffield I respect a lot. They'll do fine with the support, etc. But let's be for real. They gonna face some of the same blowback, and don't think they're not. They are.
So let me say this: Eric? Did you go to the NAACP dinner?
I have never in my life been to that event, and I will never go to that event.
Okay. So what's the deal?
Let me say the optics. Okay. So there was 4 dances, and the main dances you had, of course, the president of the NAACP branch here in Detroit. You had the mayor of the city of Detroit. You had the
vice president. The president. Yeah.
You had you also had Sri Thanadar, who did not sit up there. He sat with everybody else. He didn't sit up at the on the main dais. You had the mayor of the city of Detroit, and you had Santil Jenkins sitting there. So, and the president of the United States. So I'm sitting there and I'm saying to myself, what is really going on here? Something is about to happen. And she spoke at that Freedom Fund dinner. So in my mind, I left there saying something is going on. She's getting ready to do something. And I think I came back and told you that, Adolph. And you and I had a side conversation. And sure enough, she's running. So for me, the optics, the optics.
But that should tell you the organizations like the NAACP, Urban League, all these Black organizations, they never had a woman that had that. Right. Listen, I see the shit. And Allan says Joe Tate. I threw his name out there. I said, what's going to roadblock them is some male candidate going to get in, and folks some of these folks going to say, he's a strong politician, and we need somebody that's going to fight Trump, that's going to stand up to the Trump administration and all this other shit. I hope I'm wrong. Really, I hope I'm wrong.
This is what I hope, is that whoever gets it is the best person for the job.
Amen.
Period.
And not necessarily, because we have had Kwame, we have had Dave Bing, listen, there's no question about we hope we get somebody that's going to be able to deal with it.
Adolph, I got a question for you. Compared to Duggan, who besides Coleman Young, between that, who's the mayor who you think was better than Duggan besides Coleman?
Nobody. When you put it that way, nobody. Because Duggan is a politician. McNamara made him his deputy when he was 25 years old. Let him make his mistakes and stuff. And like I said, Duggan been in the right place at the right time. If Coleman Young was handed a gift like they handed Mike Duggan, Coleman Young, I don't know where we'd be at, but he wasn't. But he was able to keep this city afloat. He was a hell of a manager, better than anybody in the last 60, 70 years. Yeah, I look at it. You got Coleman, you got Duggan, and Archer just said, "Fuck it." He didn't care. He only enriched him and his cronies. And Dave Bing was there for a hot second, and he the one handed the bankruptcy to Snyder. They wanted him to be they wanted him to be the man. They wanted him to be the emergency manager, and he copped out. He said, I'm not dealing with that shit.
Did he miss a mayor in there in that list, y'all?
Yeah, he missed
What? Ken Cochran? Who the thief?
Somebody else. He missed somebody else too. He did that on purpose.
Who the guy that serving 28 years? The preacher, the new Republican, the one that kissing Trump's ass. Come on.
All right.
Did I miss anybody else?
You didn't think he was a good manager, I take it.
No, because he always lied. I sat there right at the table with him, and he always lied, always said this. And anyway,
all politicians lie.
Yeah, they do. You know, but some don't lie. I tell you, yeah. Well, anyway.
Well, who do you think? Who is honest? Who do you think was the most honest politician?
He gonna say Coleman
in Detroit.
Of course.
He gonna say Coleman.
And listen, because he didn't bite his tongue. He didn't bite his tongue. He said what he thought. Listen, the bottom line is he faced up more hostility than anybody in this city. I'm gonna tell you, he broke down barriers. He made it possible for black folks to become police officers, firefighters. When he came on, there was 2% of the population in the city worked for the city. Listen, he made this city employment looking like the population. There's no question about it. And then when we get Dennis Archer, he said, "Oh, we don't need these programs. There's no discrimination anymore."
He said,
you know, yeah.
Listen, he said there was no.
You don't need to have black people at the table. Listen, Dennis Archer was a lying piece of whatever. He said black folks back. We cannot help but call out those folks that collaborated with these bigots, and we have had a whole lot of them today that's sitting at the table saying, everything is hunky dory.
No, I was going to say that Coleman Young came in. He came in at a time where he had to swim upstream. I mean, the rebellion, the '67 rebellion or riot, whatever you want to call it, came in. There was people leaving the city, the neighborhoods. So many of them had been destroyed and decimated. Like you go down Grand River, you still see the remnants of '67 going up. And
well, and a lot of those business people set their own shit on fire because they wanted to get out.
Well, he hooked up with the Fords and played cards with all those guys. He had relationships with big business, and he did, considering people were fleeing the city. I mean, Duggan came in at a time where people wanted to move into the city.
Because they giving all these incentives. If you move, they giving all these incentives. Until we have a good school system.
Now I agree.
And retail, then I'll say the city is back. Is it better when I first moved back to the city? Hell yeah.
Right.
Because I tell you, the empty buildings and late at night, no traffic and all this other stuff. But I'm here. We stayed here, and we are seeing a lot of good things happening. But there still is a lot of things that we got to fix. The school system, when you have a superintendent that don't send his fucking kids to the school that he's in charge of, that's a problem. That is a problem.
And I would like to know how old Marlon, the guy that left a comment talking about Young was Trump before
Thanks
Trump.
for checking in, Marlon.
You know, because I would like for that person to explain how was Coleman Young Trump before Trump, because that makes no sense to me based on
Coleman Young ain't raped no women. Coleman Young ain't stole. Coleman Young, daddy didn't discriminate against a certain group of people because he didn't want them to live in his housing projects, etc. Fuck no, he's not that. But
right.
Anyway,
That
as
just
we
blew me away.
Allan, final thought.
Final thoughts. Just to go to the national stage, I've seen all the appointments that are coming out with Donald Trump. And probably, I mean, there's a lot of crazy ones, but Matt Gaetz for Attorney General, I thought was the funniest one. A guy who's still under investigation by the House for possibly being with underage girls. And he's going to be our Attorney General. Even some of the Republican senators, Murkowski, Susan Collins, they're all going, that is crazy. So,
And well, you go watch Charlie Chaplin, the great dictator.
Well, tell us about Gunsmoke. What's happening in Gunsmoke?
Well, Chester shooting people. Vanessa, go ahead. Your final thought.
Well, listen, we want to thank everybody that's listening and watching the podcast today. We want to encourage you to catch us again on Friday at 8:30 p.m. to 9 o'clock, and then again on Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Thank you so much for supporting our podcast, Detroit in Black and White. We want you to like, subscribe, and share. And thank you for participating. Even though we may not agree with, some of us may not agree with your comments, we really appreciate you making a comment, and we really appreciate you watching our podcast.
Eric?
I mean, I got to piggyback on what Allan said, because nothing would be more satisfying to me than to see a person that resigned already from his congressional seat to not be confirmed, because he no longer has that seat. He resigned from it today, and I have no idea how he was selected to be the Attorney General. I mean, none. I mean, it just blew me. I mean, I'm reading something that my news feed chimes in saying Matt Gaetz, Attorney General. I'm like, damn, the day is November 13th, not April Fool's Day.
Right.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you.
What do we expect? I mean, listen, we know who we have in office.
This is just the beginning. You might see Barron Trump, the head of NATO. You know, you don't know what's going on. Listen, the games have just begun. See us on Friday. This is Adolph Mongo, Detroit in Black and White. Thank you, Vanessa, Allan Lengel, Eric Brown. Jim Nardone is somewhere in time. He'll be back on Saturday.
Thanks,
have a good evening.
And thanks, Marlon.
Oh, Teresa.